It's that time of the month where I share with you some of my favorite plants in my collection as of right now. These are plants that have been really catching my eye lately because they are just so beautiful and stunning, and they have been bringing me so much joy and happiness. And I hope this video will inspire you, and maybe you will add some of these plants to your own collection. I hope you will enjoy this video. Grab yourself a cozy little drink, a little snack, and without further ado, let's get started. The first plant that we're going to be talking about today, I actually featured in my previous favorites video, so if you haven't seen that one, check it out. But I showed you the baby plant, and today we're gonna be talking about Mother herself. This is my Alocasia Frydek, and y'all, she is back in action. Like, look at her. She is absolutely stunning. Just the apple of my eye. Y'all know, if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, y'all know that I absolutely love the Alocasia Frydek. And this is my mother plant. I've had this plant for a couple of years now. I've had my fair share of struggles with this plant because honestly, I've had such a difficult time growing this plant at the beginning of our little journey. And this plant really started taking off when I moved it into semi-hydro. Right now it is growing in pond and it is absolutely loving life. However, this plant did have quite a bit of a setback during the winter time because she bloomed. And unfortunately, I feel like when plants bloom, it just takes up so much energy out of the plant. And like the foliage just looked really nasty. Like all of her old, beautiful big leaves were yellowing and wilting and dying off. But we are back, baby. We're back. She is back in action, looking stunning, giving me these massive leaves. Like, this is huge. Like, this is almost the size of like my whole forearm, which is kind of crazy. Like, I'm not a small person. I'm 6 feet tall, but she is absolutely massive. I love her. She lives on my video shelf, is an absolute staple in my background and just in my life. Like, I just love this plant so much. Like, not only is this like one of my favorite plants as of right now, this is like probably one of my favorite plants, like, period, in my whole collection because it is so gorgeous. And the variegation, like, look at this one. Look at this leaf. It is absolutely beautiful. So this does have 4 plants or 5 plants in here, or no, 6. Oh my God, it says 6 plants in here. And the main like plants that I first acquired isn't as variegated, but all of its pups are like super freaking variegated and absolutely gorgeous. And I know variegation, it's you either love it or you hate it. Personally, this kind of variegation I live for. It is beautiful, it's gorgeous. I love the creaminess. I love the like sectoral variegation. It does love to give you like full-on white leaves, which obviously isn't the best because obviously the white sections don't contain any chlorophyll and hence will die off and not provide anything for the plant. But honestly, this plant is just so beautiful, so gorgeous. I don't even mind. And she did also have a bit of a spider mite issue lately, but honestly, you can't even tell. Like, this is just one of those plants that even if she does have like an infestation, you can't really tell because she still is growing. She's still looking beautiful, and she is literally pushing out leaf after leaf after leaf. Like, literally one leaf will harden off and she's already working on the next one. And I do believe that this over here is the latest leaf, and it's still kind of like soft and floppy, so it might still expand a little bit more. And yeah, I'm sure she's gonna give me another one soon afterwards. And I just love this plant so much. Y'all know this. She is absolutely gorgeous, and she only lives under like my Barina grow lights and looking this stunning. Like, come on, that is beautiful. And I guess since we are talking about the Frydek, I might as well give you an update on the little baby Alocasia Frydek, who is doing so well. Like, look at that, mother and daughter and their owner. That sounds wrong. Oh, but they're so cute. I love this plant so much. Alocasia Frydek. The next plant is a plant that I don't think I've ever featured on this channel. Maybe when I bought it, but other than that, I never talk about this plant. And I was just like, Why am I ignoring this plant? This plant is absolutely gorgeous. And that is the rabbit foot's fern or maidenhair. I don't even know what the name of this thing is. It's a cute little fern. It has these like little fuzzy tarantula leg looking rhizomes, which I don't know, in a way, I always thought that these were like creepy because I do not like spiders, okay? I do not mess with spiders. I hate them. I mean, in theory, like when I see them in pictures and stuff, in videos, they're cool. Like I think spiders are so freaking cool and they're like nature's little, you know, they're nature's little workers. But in my house, get the hell out of here, okay? Do not touch me, do not come near me. I don't want none of that business. So honestly, I was kind of like thinking that I wasn't gonna like these, but I kind of like them. Like they're cute, they're fuzzy, they're very nice, and look at the foliage. The foliage, it is so beautiful. And y'all know I talk about texture in plants and having different varieties of plants in your collection to make it feel more fun and unique. And this plant gives me that unique aspect that I really need and love. And on top of all of it, this is so freaking easy. I did recently move this plant to my desk, so it's kind of like in front of my west-facing window. But before that, it was just living under like a Barina, I believe it's like a 1-foot light. It was doing fine, it was doing well. And I find that ferns are not at all drought tolerant and that you really have to be on top of watering them. But this one really doesn't seem to mind a little bit of neglect and a little bit of underwatering. I've definitely underwatered this thing quite a lot because I don't know, I just kind of ignored it for like ever since I bought it. Basically, I bought it because it looked pretty. Also, I bought this like pot to go with it because I think it's like a cute combo. And I don't know, I just never gave it the light of day, but looking at it now, I appreciate this plant so much. It's like so beautiful, so pretty, so flawless. She did have like a little bit of crispin, but I just took that off. And I don't know, I put her on my desk so I can actually like appreciate her more and look at her more. And it is just, it really is a beautiful plant. It's just so cool. Like, come on, that is amazing. Like the fact that we can grow something that looks like this inside our homes. Hello? That is freaking amazing. This is even in like just a regular soil mix. I think I did repot this from like the store-bought soil mix. So this is in probably Philodendron. Yeah, this looks like Philodendron and Monstera soil from Soil Ninja. She doesn't mind it. I don't know. She is growing. She's beautiful. And obviously, these can also get pretty big. Mine is still rather small, medium sized, but honestly, this kind of size is absolutely perfect because it doesn't take up too much space, but it still looks gorgeous and gives me that pop of green, gives me that pop of texture. It's so fun to touch. Y'all know I love touching my plants, and y'all know that I love tactile plants. I've never had any pest pressure on this plant. I've never had like any root related issues on this plant. Basically, I've never had issues with this plant, and I'm like, why am I not showing this plant more on my channel that's all about houseplants? Because this houseplant is amazing. But I'm finally showing her now, and she is deservingly getting a spot in my favorites video this month. Okay, the next one is heavy, and that is my Epipremnum Pinnatum Albo variegata. Oh my God, look at her. She is stunning. And I've actually featured this video in a recent plant chores vlog. We extended the moss pole so now she can grow even bigger, but I freaking love this plant. And what I particularly love about this plant is the way it gets in my mouth. It's the way that it lays so on the moss pole. Like, this gives me so much serotonin. It's correct. It feels correct. It hides the moss pole. It looks so gorgeous, just gently, elegantly draping I absolutely love it. And like she is working on 2 new leaves over here that are looking beautiful. Now, obviously, my specimen isn't the most variegated out there, but honestly, I don't even mind. Like, it's such a beautiful plant. It's such a beautiful display piece. I love the way that it looks in my space. It's a gorgeous climber. Like, it just climbs and looks so good. I mean, I love in general climbing Epipremnums because they just fill out the moss pool so lovely, and they usually don't lose their lower leaves as fast as something like a Philodendron, for example. And also, something like a Philodendron will probably have quite large internodal spacing, and it will just look kind of, I don't know, sometimes it can look a little bit empty. But this girl, come on, she is full, luscious, and beautiful. And I only have 2 vines in here. Like, that's it. Only 2 vines, and she is looking this good. Like, this should be like, girl, what are you doing? That's illegal. Now, I will say I restarted this plant during the winter time. I took some cuttings. I already had this growing on a moss pole, but it was a wired moss poles, and I am like the DIY kind, and I'm just so done with those DIY moss poles. They're just not for me anymore, which is fine. And if you like your DIY moss poles, keep on doing them. You do you, boo. But for me, it's a lot. So I wanted to move it to a plastic closed back mess pool. So I just like took some cuttings, I rooted them, and I was like, why don't I try growing this plant in semi-hydro? Because I have been having so much success with semi-hydro. And this was around the same time that I moved my Alocasia Frydek over to semi-hydro, and I saw how much happier she was in it. So I was like, might as well try it. I've never had any issues with this planted soil, but yeah, might as well try it. And dear Lord, she absolutely loves semi-hydro. Look at those roots. These roots are crazy. And she dries out so often. And honestly, sometimes days will go by that her reservoir is empty, and she gives me absolutely no issues. She's just living. She is thriving. She's constantly growing. This is such a fast grower. And I feel like it's just so healthy. And I do believe that the reason why this plant looks like so healthy and nice is because of the semi-hydro, because it does have a semi-consistent watering schedule. I say semi because there were times that this thing was bone dry for a while, but unfortunately, for some reason, it did give me quite a lot of these like wonky leaves, and I don't know if that's just because it's a variegated specimen or if it's because it has like fenestrations, but do you see, like, it was just kind of like wonky. Now the newer leaves are turning out pretty nice and regular, which is great, but honestly, I don't even mind like a little bit of wonkiness here and there. I don't know. I feel like this plant just has so much character, and it really does add something very special and lovely to my space. And obviously it's an Epipremnum, so in general, it's very easy care. Never have any pest issues with her, never experienced root rot issues with her, great climber, and looks lovely in my space. She is though full of sphagnum moss, and I do need to clean her. I should have cleaned her for this video, but oh well. But I absolutely love this plant. Epipremnum, Pinnatum, Albo variegata. And yeah, I do wish she was maybe a little bit more variegated. Like for example, this leaf over here. This leaf over here is beautifully variegated, but it is what it is. And also maybe if it had like more variegation, maybe it wouldn't grow as fast or as nicely. So I'll take her. I think she's beautiful either way. Now the next plant I also kind of talked about in a recent video. I talked about this plant in my plants that I used to struggle with video, but I want to show it again because it is absolutely beautiful. And if you haven't seen that video, first of all, go check it out. And second of all, the plant that I'm talking about is the Philodendron Gloriosum. Oh my God, she is gorgeous. Look at her, look at her. Like, she does not have a bad angle. She is a model, she is beauty, she is grace, she is Miss United States, and I freaking love this plant. Now, like I've mentioned, I've already talked about this plant in my plants I used to struggle with video, because me and this plant, we had a difficult past, okay? We struggled quite a bit with each other. Well, mainly she struggled with me, and I couldn't figure this plant out. But I feel like what it came down to is that I was just impatient. I was just impatient, and I was expecting this plant to, you know, just like give me those huge, big, massive, beautiful leaves out of nowhere. And yeah, I just gave this plant space. I gave it time. I gave it a big vessel that she can grow in. And she has rewarded me very, very nicely. This is her latest leaf, and it is stunning. It does have a wee bit of damage over here, but that's fine. That is fine. But she is so stunning. She's so big, so beautiful, and it's still like soft. So I think it might expand even a little bit more. And this was the leaf before. Absolutely adore this plant. And if you've been on my channel, you know that me and philodendrons, we don't get along. For the most part, my philodendron collection looks like a mess. And I don't know. Me and philodendrons, we don't get along. I do not find them easy whatsoever. I constantly struggle with root rot or thrips, or honestly, them just looking ugly. So plants like this, philodendrons like this, that actually look gorgeous and give me that lush, jungly vibe, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. This plant is absolutely stunning. And now that she's kind of like, I feel like settled into her pot, and that we are in the growing season, she's actually pushing out like leaves pretty regularly and pretty fast, which I am honestly sort of impressed by. And also, this plant doesn't really have any pest issues right now. I did struggle with both thrips and spider mites on this plant, but it's like, it's a philodendron. Of course it's gonna have pests, but for the most part, I haven't really had any pest pressure on this thing. However, I will also say that I have been really on top of my pest game with some of my plants. Some of them are just like looking nasty, but for this one, I sprayed it down every single week because I really want her to stay looking this beautiful and gorgeous, because I mean, come on, this is everything, and I freaking love it. Also, I really like this philodendron because I don't find that it produces too much EFN. It does produce a little bit of EFN, but it's not bad. Like, there's no damage. Like, for example, my Soderoi is a EFN champion. She is constantly just like burning herself because she's producing the EFN, but this one is actually pretty good when it comes to EFN. And again, it is a gorgeous, beautiful plant. However, I will say these take up quite a lot of space because this is actually a crawling philodendron. So they crawl along the forest floors and they don't climb or anything. So it does require like a longer planter with a lot of soil. So not only is it heavy, it also takes up a lot of space. But honestly, when you look this good, I don't mind giving her the space that she needs to thrive. And I have her just on the floor in front of my east-facing window. She did live to the side of my door, which was a fine location. However, I was constantly hitting her with said door, and I did unfortunately bend one of her leaves. This one, you can see it's kind of bent. I'm not gonna touch it too much because I don't want to like break it further, but the leaf is here, so she healed herself, I suppose. But yeah, I just moved her just because I didn't want her to get even more damaged. And also, she was living on kind of like a shelf. So like there was like a shelf above her. And obviously the newest leaves would just always get stuck under there. So I just moved her so she has more space to expand. And I hope that expand she will. And you will be definitely seeing a lot more of this plant in future videos because I freaking love her. Philodendron Gloriosum. The last plant that we're going to be talking about, I have to roll in the frame because she is an absolute monster. Hello, this is my Monstera Deliciosa, and she is massive. She is absolutely huge. Like she is bigger than me. Crazy. So she is definitely, I would say like 6'1" even. She is just gorgeous. I love her. This is my regular green form Monstera. I'm not sure if it is an official Deliciosa, because like Deliciosa is like the large form or whatever. Like, I really just don't care. It's a green Monstera, and it's a beautiful green Monstera, and I freaking love this plant. And honestly, the fact that I have grown this plant from like a tiny, like the leaves were this size, no fenestration, nothing, to this huge, massive beast, I'm just so happy. I'm so impressed with myself. I'm so impressed with this plant. This does not receive like ideal light. It does live a couple of feet away from my east-facing window, and it is just, it's so good. It's so freaking good. I love this plant so much. Also, I gave it like a nice wash yesterday because I did find a couple of thrippies on her. I feel like when it comes to my Monsteras and my Philodendrons, I don't even check for thrips. I just assume that they are always there, but I did find a couple yesterday on this new leaf, but nothing too horrible. But I did wash her, and now all of her leaves are so nice and so shiny, and I just love this plant. I mean, this plant is a classic for a reason. This plant is timeless for a reason, because it is gorgeous. And funny enough, I don't talk a lot about my green form Monstera. I definitely talk a lot about my Albo and about my Thai, because those are kind of like my special babies. But I really don't talk much about this plant, which is silly, because this is my biggest Monstera, and it is gorgeous. I mean, she is absolutely beautiful, absolutely flawless, like no crispy edges, no nothing, no visible thrips damage. It is beautiful. I cannot imagine my collection without this plant. And now that it is like this big, it just catches my eye, because how can it not when it's this big? And it does bring me a lot of joy and happiness, and the fact that I was able to grow it this big in my house that doesn't receive too much light, in my care that sometimes can be neglectful, is honestly to me so impressive. And I'm so happy, because I feel like everybody can buy like a huge Monstera, like everybody can do that, but to grow one yourself from like a small little plant, I don't know, I'm just proud of myself, and I feel like this is such a great achievement, even though this is nowhere near to like those huge, gorgeous, like with, I don't know, 100,000 fenestrations. Obviously, this is still, I would say, maybe medium size for the potential of this plant, but I don't even care. I don't even care. Like, I grew this, and it is stunning. I don't really have any issues with this plant. I've never encountered like root rot. I've never encountered really anything like crispy edges or anything. I know a lot of people struggle with like their Monsteras getting like brown or yellow or stuff, but mine just, I don't know. I've never experienced that with mine, and I assume part of it is because I grew it from a tiny baby in my environment, so it didn't have to go through that acclimation period. However, an issue that I do face with this plant, like I mentioned, is thrips. It is quite a thrips magnet. This was one of the first plants that I actually ever had thrips on, and yeah, but she is a champion. She is a champion. Even when she does get thrips, like the damage, you can't see it. You can sometimes see it on the back of the leaves, like there will be like some brown spotting, but from the front, which is obviously the side that I care about the most, you don't see anything, and she looks gorgeous and stunning. But I just make sure to kind of regularly give this plant like a shower or a wipe down. Usually I will just like take my pesticide solution, spray it down, wipe it with a cloth, because taking this thing to the shower or outside is quite a challenge, because it's quite big, so it doesn't even fit through the door. Also, it's heavy as all heck. So yeah, it is getting a little bit hard to move this thing. So most of the time, if I need to clean this thing, I will just take like a microfiber cloth with some like pesticide solution. I will just like scrubby. And it does take a long time, because obviously she's so bushy and has so many leaves. But in a way, I find it very therapeutic and very relaxing. So honestly, if I'm like watching a show or like a YouTube video, I don't know, I just love to put that on in the background, grab my little microfiber cloth, and just give this plant some love and care. And when you like wipe these leaves, and when they're all like nice and shiny and clean, it is such a magnificent sight. Like, it's just so beautiful. It feels so leathery, smooth, and gorgeous. And I cannot say enough good things about this plant. However, because it is so massive and because it is so huge and so hard to kind of handle, I honestly don't know how long I will be able to keep this in my, not in my collection, but like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this plant. Like, at some point, I will just have to chop it. At some point, I'm thinking of chopping it, taking the upper portion of this plant and restarting the plant. I might do some air layering. I don't know what to do because on the lower half of the plant, there are still a lot of like juvenile tiny leaves. So I don't know. I will have to do something with this plant. I don't have a problem when it comes to like height. Like, my ceilings are pretty tall because I am in an attic space, but the higher it goes, the less light it will receive. So I assume that at one point it will just kind of revert and start giving me juvenile leaves again, which I don't want. So I think at one point I will chop this like top section, maybe take like 2 cuttings and have like 2 vines growing. I don't know. I have to, like, all of my Monsteras are like outgrowing this space quite rapidly, and I don't know what to do with them. And it's stressing me out because I do not want to cut them, but also like, where am I going to put all of these Monsteras? I need to move. I need money to move. Please watch my videos. Just kidding. Those were all of my favorite plants as of right now. I really hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you're notified about every new video. Also, let me know what are some favorite houseplants in your collection. I hope you have a super amazing, fabulous day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!